Hello and welcome to another You May or May Not Like It. I'm your host, Scott. You can find me on Twitter at XOrsonX. And I'm here with Mike. You can find on Twitter at Review and Roast. You can find our Facebook at facebook.com/Review and Roast and our Instagram at instagram.com/Review and Roast. Today we are here to talk to you about Season 1 of American Gods. It ended quite a few minutes ago.
Yeah, actually, they're in the process of filming the second season, which I think is due out early next year, I believe.
Why does it say here that the most recent episode, Season 1, Episode 8, the final one, was Sunday, June 18th? That seems wrong.
Yeah, it's correct.
The show's been over for 2 weeks?
Check the year.
2017.
Hey, there he is.
So, yeah, when I said it's been over for a minute, it's been
a minute and 12 months after that.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Exactly.
A minute plus 12 months.
Well, I didn't know that much about it because I don't have, what was it on?
Stars, I believe.
Stars, yes, I believe you are correct. But when we were at C2E2, we had the pleasure of sitting in on a few panels with the star of the show, or one of the stars, two of the stars. A recently released ex-convict named Shadow meets a mysterious man who calls himself Wednesday and who knows more than he first seems to about Shadow's life and past. It doesn't tell us that much, but that's basically the opening episode.
Right, and this is based off of a book series, I believe, that
Yes.
I have not read.
No, you have not.
That is, I don't know if it's critically acclaimed, but it's well loved by the people who have read it.
Correct.
I do know that because when we were at C2E2, I had already seen the series, the first season, that is, and a lot of people there. I didn't even know that it was a book. Well, maybe I heard it, but I didn't know that it was such a wildly popular book because almost everybody at C2E2, they were bringing up some stuff. The actor Ricky Whittle and Yatida Badaki, they were talking about things that are coming in the next season and referencing locations and other stuff from the books, and the crowd was like, "Whoa, this is bananas!" And I was like, "I wish I knew what the bananas were about." So,
sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah, everyone was pretty psyched about the things that they were mentioning, and where they sort of alluded that the second season was gonna go, and yeah, that's about it. So it's unfortunately for both of us here, we probably don't have time to be reading a full series of books right now.
It's just one book.
Is it just one?
I think.
Are you sure?
No.
I thought it was like a 3-booker.
Did you say 3-booker?
3-booker. It's a thing. But again, I'm not positive. I know there's a comic series that's out now, but I believe that that's based off the book /show / it's still on issue 5, so it's not very far, being a comic book. So yeah, that's all I got to start this puppy off.
No, I believe it's just one book.
Is it?
A nice 465 pages.
Cool.
Of a book.
Most likely, it easily could be, and who knows where they're going to go with it or how many seasons they can squeeze out of it. We don't even know for all we know, this is the first 3 chapters of a 20-chapter book with season 1. I mean, they kind of got into a lot of shit, so it's probably a little more than that.
I feel like they didn't.
It wasn't a very sprawling time frame. So basically, let's call season 1. What would you give it as a time frame, start to finish? In
a couple of weeks.
Calendar,
tops.
Yeah, right? Maybe 4 weeks.
At the most, yeah.
Right? From opening scene, I mean, regardless of flashbacks.
Actually, probably not even that much, but yeah, it
picks them up, they go
wasn't
do some
very
stuff
long.
and things, and we're on the road, and we're doing stuff and things.
Yeah, they're always
and
on the road.
Next thing you know, it's like, I'm pretty sure it hasn't been a month, and this season's over. In a spectacular fashion.
We could go back and figure it out, but I don't feel like it right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to... I mean, I probably will, actually. We just... since we just watched the last episode one more time, the episode that I kept bringing up to you while I knew you were watching it, and I forgot it was the absolute last episode, kind of revigorated me into wanting to watch the entire season one more time. So I'm in the process of Luke Cage right now, so anything can happen after that. Anyways.
Anything like you getting your face into the microphone? Because that would be neat.
Yeah, I'm right here.
No, there he is. Anywho, so you have Ricky Whittle, who plays Shadow Moon, for those of you who have read the book.
Or know who Ricky is from the 100.
Correct. And, the show opens up where, he's still in prison, but he's getting ready to be released, and then he winds up getting released early for a, let's just say, death in the family. He was going to go in a week, but they're like, oh, well, we'll let you out early for the funeral, blah, blah, blah. Don't come back, kind of thing. And while he's traveling, he's on a plane where he meets this so-called Mr. Wednesday, who is played by Ian McShane, who you will recognize from quite a few things.
Yeah.
Phenomenal actor, Mr. McShane is.
He's, legit on top of his game right now in this show.
He has been for a very long time.
Almost everything he's in, he nails, and the problem is he doesn't always have giant parts, but he was in the main thing a lot of people are going to know him from recently, from mainstream, is going to be the hotel manager from John Wick. He plays that part, and he had a small part that I know of on Game of Thrones. He had like a 3-episode stint, which was actually quite good as well. Had to do with the Hound. It was awesome. But anyways, that's all I got for him. But again, he is honestly really, really good. He's been good in almost everything you're ever going to see him in. But I think he's probably most well known for Deadwood. Which that's right. That's right. That's a big thing. Yeah, I watched a little bit of that. I really it's one of those shows that I meant to get into and
never did. Yeah. I went as far as buying it, and I still never watched it.
Yeah, it happens.
But yeah, so Ian McShane, basically, in this conversation on the plane, basically tells Shadow Moon that, hey, if you need a job, I know a guy, and it's me. I need some help.
I need a dude.
Yeah, he basically hires him on as a lackey, and then you don't exactly know what's going on. Obviously by the name of the title, American Gods, the show involves, gods. And there's quite a few of them in the show. You don't know exactly who Mr. Wednesday is at this point. But he's presumably, pretty well known.
Right, and you could take a lot of wild guesses throughout the series or season, as I did, and be semi-wrong and semi-right at the same time. It's a little tricky towards the end, but the main thing about this series is that gods exist because people believe they do. And
yes.
That's a huge sticking point with this.
Yep.
Not everybody has to, but when enough people do, then I don't want to say a god is manifest out of thin air, but
they have power.
But sort of. So they, there's Gillian Anderson plays a role. She is the god of media because people believe actually in that to a degree. There's a technical dude who's like the tech, like, I don't know, call him iPhone kid or whatever you want to call him, but
technical boy.
Oh, is that he's listed?
That's listed as
so,
his name,
and and he's because people believe in tech, stuff like that.
Well, I think it's safe to say people worship tech.
Yeah, no, it's. Yeah.
And pray to it. Please let me know.
Watch people pray to their iPhone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, and again, it might sound a little silly off, from where we're throwing it from, but in the context of the show, it actually almost makes perfect sense. Just the way they interact and the way things are happening and the way Wednesday takes Shadow around and slowly
tries to open his eyes without opening his eyes.
Yeah, you're trying to just shake him a little bit, not slap the shit out of him, There's also a leprechaun who's not your typical leprechaun.
He's probably the best.
Pablo, what's his last name?
Pablo Schreiber.
He's from Orange is the New Black. He was the creepy mustache security guard.
Yes.
And in this show, honestly, he's one of my favorite characters, too. I mean,
Absolutely.
I want to be honest, like, every character in this show is one of my favorite characters, pretty much.
Well, between him, it's a toss-up between... and don't get me wrong, Ian McShane was great. Ricky Whittle was great. But that guy and Peter Stormare, who was...
Oh, yeah, he's Redonk.
In every fucking mob movie you've probably ever seen that involves the Russian mob,
Yeah,
he's been in it.
he's a...
You'll recognize him right away, but...
He's like your token Russian for a movie.
Yeah, and
Besides, what's his name? Who's the other one that plays Boris Blade?
Plays who?
Boris in Snatch.
Oh, yeah. I don't
that
remember
guy.
his
That's
name,
the. There's two Russians that are in all the movies.
Yeah.
He's the other guy.
Yeah, and
So-
he kills it in this series. He's only in like 2, maybe 3 episodes, but it's
Super
amazing.
pitiful.
And here's
Pivotal.
the one thing too. When when we were at C2E2 and you were talking with Ricky and Yatide,
Yatita, I believe. Yep.
I expected her to be more in the show. I only remember her being in maybe 3 or 4 episodes.
She's like in 3 or 4.
But it says here
Yeah.
she was in all 9, so
Well, maybe
they flashed on her a few times.
she does. I mean, yeah, they almost always pop to her, like, even if she's walking down the street, or at the end of the episode she's setting up the next one. Like at the very end of this season, she's on a bus. Actually, she had a big part in this one because Orlando Jones's character tells that story in the beginning of the episode about Bill Quist's story.
Well, you know what? And that's the thing. He tells a story about a different god in the beginning of every episode, but that's really all you hear about that god. She, legitimately, her story basically unfolds a little bit in every episode.
Yeah.
Which is kind of...
right, because they show that very...
Which makes me wonder if she's going to be just huge in season 2.
I think she is season 2, because I think she's the prime antagonist in season 2.
Well,
Because I think her whole mission is going to be Shadow.
Ricky?
Yeah, that's what I think. Who knows? Because the way this season ends, I don't know how you feel about it, but I thought it was like... I was like, fuck yeah.
Well, basically...
Shit's about to pop off now, finally.
The long of the
shit's
short...
been popping off the whole season, so...
Yeah.
It's not like there's no shortage of, whoa.
Yeah.
That just happened.
Basically, for those of you who are not aware of the story, the whole long and short of it is the old gods are losing power, the new gods are coming into power, and the old gods are not happy about it, and they either have taken sides with the new gods to retain some of their small power, or they want a war. And the whole season is building up to this war that clearly is going to be part of season 2.
Right, and look at it in a sense of old gods and new gods. So to sort of shed light on it, one of the gods they portray it towards the very end is Astera, who is Easter.
Yes.
And she's an old god, because before there was a whole
Jesus
Christ thing, it was the whole ritual, spring, harvest, this, that, and the other thing, and you prayed to have a harvest, a good harvest. So she's that. And again, like I mentioned, Gillian Anderson's like the goddess of media.
She's awesome.
So yeah, she rules. Like, and she acts like her acting on. I mean, she's a good actress. I mean, no doubt about it. But she's super good because she's so like spacey but not spacey, and old fashioned but not really. It's I don't know. I can't even explain her. But every time she talks, I'm like you. You know what I mean? Like every time, I'm just like,
I don't know if I trust you.
Yeah, like I don't trust her as far as I can throw her, but I'll die trying.
I'll tell you the one thing though. The one thing that is going to lose the most points for me is every single episode. Obviously, it's the same intro and it's the same roll of credits, and every single time Crispin Glover's name pops up, he's literally in 2 episodes.
I mean, you can't shave points because somebody you like doesn't have a lot of screen time.
You can't tease my man like that, especially when you got him listed here as 9 episodes.
I think everyone was just listed 9 if you're a god.
Oh, no. You know what? This goes through season 2. That's why.
No.
Yeah, it's 2017 to 2019.
Yeah, but Ricky's not going to be in 9 episodes.
All right, shut up.
I'm just saying.
Either way, when he finally does show up, it is as awesome as anyone could ever think it could be.
Right, but again, now now look at it the same way as Yatita or Bilquist's character. Season 2, you know what I'm saying? Like this was the set. There wasn't a lot of Gillian Anderson either. I mean, she was awesome. She had a couple of pivotal episodes, but it was a lot with Shadow's wife and the Leprechaun. I mean, they drove a lot of stuff. They were awesome. Yeah,
and I don't know if I want to talk much about the situation with her.
I don't think you can. I don't think we can really talk about a whole lot other than the fact that this is a present day God show, which is interesting in and of itself, in my opinion. And it's not like like the movie Constantine that came out, or what's the one with like Tom Hanks and shit, the Illuminati one, or is that the name of it, or whatever?
Oh, Da Vinci Code.
Yeah. Like it's not like churchy like that. This is pure science fiction or fantasy or whatever you want to call it.
Is it?
It's probably real.
Is it?
I mean, I will drop this nugget out there though. In the last episode, there's about 14 different Jesuses.
That's the best.
That is actually hilarious. But again, and the whole point being, and the way they explain this sort of is that, again, all these different cultures have an idea of what they believe in. Therefore, there's multiples, all based on what Astera said was the Jesus of Nazareth. So she sort of alluded that there is like, Jesus.
You figure there's Catholics, Christians, Protestants. You know, you can go down the list of all of them all the time. But then, as pointed out by our man Ian McShane, he's not a god. He's just the son of a god.
Right. Well, there was also a very Asian.
But they don't lead to
Jesus,
what god he's.
Yeah. So who knows? Again, it's very. There's so much to like figure out, and there's a real lot of like symbolism that is tough to actually get, which is also why I kind of want to go back and watch the whole thing again now that I know stuff, because I'm sure I'm going to pick up some stuff. And one of the coolest things that I've done all year long, hands down, was meet Ricky Whittle, first of all. And the second coolest thing was when I sat in the panel and you walked out to go to a different panel, but the Flamin' Buffalo Eye scene, that's the one I was telling you. He sort of, he did like a monologue of the director directing him on that scene with the big tree and the Flamin' Buffalo, which I sound like a fucking lunatic right now. A, it's an amazing scene. B, it was such an awesome story that he told, the way like, because in this show, Ricky Whittle is really, 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 really good. In real life, I had no idea this guy's hilarious. Like, I mean, he's the coolest, one of the cooler celebrities I've probably ever actually gotten a minute to interact with. Not like I'm like out hobnobbing or nothing, but I've met a couple, seen a couple up close, blah, blah, whatever. Super cool dude, like not afraid to, I mean, like if you got in like Ricky Whittle's zone, you're getting hugged out. You know what I mean? Like, you were there.
I was.
You know what I'm saying? We were just chaperoning my niece, and you know, you gotta get a Whittle hug going. That's all.
Wow.
But anyways,
you went there, huh?
I did.
He did grab her phone, and they literally took.
Oh yeah, he was making selfies. And I mean, he
took
cool
the time
dude, man.
to just respectfully meet every single person waiting.
No, he did, and really cool guy again, but really, really way funnier because he's so serious in the show, and I'm just like, oh man, this guy's got to be like dark and cryptic and shit. But no, I mean, you wouldn't even know it and even when he was telling his story of being on the show and being directed in that scene, like I was saying, it was it could have been a stand-up comedy like routine because I mean, the whole panel room was dying. I mean, it was out of control, hilarious. Anyways, point being,
you have a crush.
I'm just saying. That guy is like 4 times better looking in real life too. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, he's all right.
He looked he looked taller and more brooding on the show.
Oh yeah, for sure. But everyone looks taller because they always put you next to the short actress.
Right? Yeah,
you know what I mean. The actress is 5 foot.
Right.
But yeah, he's I don't know how tall. He's probably only 5'10" or 11, which is a lot taller than I am. So that's awesome for him. But anyways, the point being,
you still there?
That's the point. I don't even remember where I started this off at. Oh, the fact that the way they set up the entire season,
Yeah.
basically. Being set in present day. They explain how the gods operate, why they're around, what's going on. And again, as new gods are formed, people stop believing in old, hoagie religion or whatever you want to call it.
Which happens anyway.
Correct. Which no, and that's what my point being is that's an actual thing, which actually starts to make sense as you watch the show.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I get it. Like, yeah, why does anyone care about Easter? You know what I mean, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like all people care about is, their iPhone or this or the new holistic whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
See, here's the one thing that I don't want to say confused on, but maybe slightly, is they had an entire episode, probably I think it was like episode 4
On the gin?
Yeah, where it cut away from every actor they've introduced, and they introduced this cab driver and this door-to-door salesman.
Right.
These two spend the episode together. The one guy happens to be a jinn.
Right, and they're both of Muslim Arabic origin.
Yes, and then literally you see in the middle of the episode the jinn takes off, but the other guy kind of becomes a jinn, it seems like. And then he's still looking for this guy, and then they never touch on it again.
Yeah, I'll have to rewatch that episode, but I know for a fact they do touch on that again.
Well, they do because the guy who's left driving the cab, and he ends up with Mad Sweeney and Laura Moon for a minute.
Yeah.
And then when he's like, well, I got to go this way, and they're like, well, we got to go this way. So then,
yeah.
But it wasn't. It was very minimal, and I almost don't know why it was in there. But I mean, I'm assuming it's going to come up later, and I hope it does. But
and it might have been more prominent or even less prominent in the book, but I'm very certain that it will have something to do with something at some point in time. Obviously.
Yeah, because obviously the show is about these gods going to war. The leprechaun is not a god, but he is big time in the show.
He's got some stuff though.
He's also just big time in general. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he was just a funny goof on Orange Is the New Black, but in this show he's still kind of a goof, but he's kind of.
He's really good.
He's
like
awesome.
Really. Honestly, he's another one of those guys where you're like, Orange Is the New Black. You're like, yeah, whatever. You're like, you look creepy, like the creepster, perfect. But in this one, you really see you're like. Shit, I think this guy's a really good actor.
It took me a couple episodes I had to look him up to realize who he was.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you
I did not notice
me?
it the first one, and then the second one, I think I was watching, I'm like, but I also had been watching, at that time, we were watching some Orange Is the New Black as well, and some early episodes. So I had seen him not very recently, I probably finished where he was on Orange Is the New Black maybe 6 months before that. So it's recent enough to, when you get it stuck in your brain, you're like, where's that guy from?
Yeah.
And then it just kept doing that to me, and I'm like, oh, God. Like, he can't be. I didn't think that guy was that tall, but apparently he is. Cause that guy's,
he's a monster in this show.
Yeah. Well, I think he's a tall guy in real life. I'm not going to Google him or nothing, but when he and Shadow meet for the first time, it's actually a pretty awesome scene. I'm just saying. Like when they have to get in the bar fight or whatever.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, no, it's actually that's like that was one of the things that drove me to say, I think I like this guy.
Yeah,
it's a real good setup, and the way Ian McShane plays Wednesday is everything that this guy says throughout the whole season, in my opinion, is like you should be writing it down. You know what I mean? And I know someone else wrote it for him to say, but the way he says it makes it sound like I think this guy's onto something. You know what I mean?
He just has that way.
Yeah, he's one of them people. There's a bunch of actors like that where when they talk, you gotta listen. That's how I feel this guy is.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. I mean, I guess without getting into too much spoilers and whatnot. I mean, I know this show's been out for a jillion years now, or 1 year and 3 weeks, but I think that the premise of the story is exactly like you said. Old gods feel like they're being shoved out by new gods. New gods feel like they need to contain the old gods, this, that, and the other thing. War might be brewing. People are choosing sides. At the very end of the season, we still don't even know, can Shadow do some shit or not?
Yeah, we don't know his purpose yet.
I believe he's alluded to being having godly blood or something, or the blood of a god in him or something.
I have no idea.
I'll have to. I really am gonna double watch. I'm gonna rewatch the season because I really like it.
Yeah, I do too.
So, and most episodes have a little action. It's not always a lot, to be honest, but you don't need it because to me, it's weird enough, but interesting enough, and it makes you think enough to just. It's one of those shows that I'm like, all right, I'll just watch the next one. You know what I mean? So I feel like I'll have no problem knocking this thing out to rewatch it in a week or two.
Let me put it this way. All I heard from you for forever was how I got to be watching this show. I got to be watching this show. Finally get my hands on it, and I'm like, I'll start watching this stupid show so we could do this stupid podcast. I mean, Ricky Whittle was kind of a cool guy.
Kind of a dreamboat.
Yeah, right.
Not
I mean, I got lost in his eyes. It's no big deal.
Guy smelled amazing, too. Whatever. Anyways, go ahead. And abs?
And don't get me wrong.
Forget about it.
I mean, I watch some fucking pretty weird stuff, I feel. This show, after about the first 2, maybe even 3 episodes, I was like, this might even be a little too weird for me. Like, I don't get it. I've watched a lot of fucking stupid shit in my time. I don't get it. I finished it, and I fucking totally get it now. Mm-hmm. But I'm just telling you as a little forewarning, don't give up on this show so quickly because it all will start to make sense, and it will all come together as one really beautifully done season.
I think so. And
I mean, visually is where it gets really weird, but visually it's fucking
visually
incredible.
is part of is the story. So
yeah.
that's the thing. Whenever they're giving you something visually, you need to read it. And I know that doesn't make sense right now, but trust me, you really need to take in what you're seeing. So, having said that, here's where my problem was with the first 2 episodes. I was painting miniatures while watching. So, literally, the first episode ended, and I'm like, huh. The second episode starts, and I'm like halfway through, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Did I skip something?
Yeah, like, literally, I'm like halfway through the second episode, and I'm like, this is the dumbest shit. Like, I'm like, So I put everything away. I made dinner, sat down, ate, and watched. And then, boom, I was in there. Because now I'm like, oh, you got to see stuff. You can't be looking down and playing with your fucking iPhone and all of this bullshit. You got to watch. You got to sit down and watch the show. That's my... And I know that sounds like
is that your
super great advice. Like, oh my God, look at me dropping nuggets.
Most people watch TV with their phones.
Nobody
in their
does
face.
watch it. Yeah, everybody's sitting here like, oh yeah, what's going on? Instagram, look at that butt. And then you're like, what happened? So my suggestion is, give yourself an hour to watch this show and enjoy it, and see if you do. If you don't, after 2 episodes, don't watch it. It ain't gonna be for you because it's not gonna get any less weirder. Because it continually gets weird and starts splintering off. So, but I thought it was awesome. It's one of my favorite shows that hasn't been canceled yet because it seems like every time I like one, they do. So, yeah, that's all I got. And honestly, I don't even think we don't even have to do... well, you can say what you don't like about it, but I don't know that there's much I don't. Except for the same old, like, yeah, I should have been more Crispin Glover. Like, I get it, like, for sure. But every series should probably have more Crispin Glover. But whatever. But Ian McShane is in every single episode, along with Ricky Whittle, who I sold him as this like hugely hilarious like screen guy, but in the show he's a brooding like dude, and that's what he's supposed to be. Well, and that's what everybody said that. Again, in the book, I guess he's even more brooding. From what people were saying, so yeah, I really with the like I said there's nothing I really don't like about this show.
And here's the thing: like when I was listening to people talk about it, and they're mentioning a character by the name of Shadow Moon, I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, what's the weird supernatural fucking with this guy? Is he turned into a werewolf? No, his mom was a fucking hippie.
Yeah, right.
That's it.
That's it.
There's no fucking story to his name. People.
Yeah, which is cool. Which is actually cool.
Makes me want to have a kid.
Yeah.
Hey, Shadow. But anywho, yeah, I mean, there's really not. I mean, yeah, okay, I can joke around about Crispin Glover all day, but I mean, he did fucking crush it when he showed up.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this show is pretty fucking well made. Like, there's really nothing I can say about it.
No, and that's what I'm saying. If it's what you're into, you're really, really, really going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
If it's not what you're into, stop watching it after the second episode because you're not going to like it anymore later.
I don't know. I gave it like 3 or 4 before I was like sucked. What?
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right.
Do you have a number?
What? I rated it on the interwebs on our site already.
Well, maybe you should
Didn't
have
I?
fucking looked. I don't know.
I don't know. I can't pull it up on the on my phone. So, oh well.
Well, as we have pulled up the site and found out that you were wrong, you did not write a review. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what you thought number-wise?
I'm just going to give it an. I'm torn between an 8.5 and a 9, to be honest.
I was too.
So I think I'm just going to. I'm going to give it an 8.5 so I have room to grow for the second season. That's what I'm going to do.
I did not. I went 9. I went for the gusto.
Look at you, sweeping the leg.
You know
We
what?
just
There's
watched Cobra Kai,
there's just too many people in this thing that just fucking
No,
kill
it really is good.
And it was a really just well written and well filmed, and I think I want to be part of season 2 somehow.
They're filming it like not far from here.
Well, look at me go.
Well, one of the locations they brought up was the House on the Hill, I believe is what they call it, and that's an actual place that's on Lake Michigan, north of here. Actually, in Illinois.
Sweet. Well,
Somewhere.
I'm going into the city tonight, so maybe
we could probably look it up. But anyways,
maybe I'll swim out there.
So
tonight.
that's that.
All right, so there you have it. American Gods season 1. You can find me on the Twittens at XOrsonX. You can find him on the Twittens at Review and Roast. And don't forget to head over to our Facebook, facebook.com/Review and Roast. And from there, you can go to our site and you can rate stuff. You can write your own reviews, which most people have not taken advantage of.
You don't have to. We're just happy if you actually go there and like listen to stuff.
Yeah, by all means.
Cool.
Let's not get more stuff done. Dick.
Yeah, all they got to do is go there. You don't need to write nothing. All you got to do is click 7, 8, 8.5. I'll be happy if you guys start doing that. How's that sound? Be nice.
People do that.
Not a lot.
Well, you don't have to fucking tell everybody.
Well, we want more. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not like I'm not asking for $1, but if you want to go to our Patreon page,
yeah, right, where we have
then
done
you can
nothing.
give us $1. Yeah, we're gonna be working on all these things in the very near future to revamp. But go on.
I don't know what else to say.
That's it.
I think I'm good.
We'll see you guys later.
10-4.